Hi everyone, hope all of you are doing well. And in this video, I'll be giving you some information on the different elicitation techniques that we business analysts can use. And this information is taken again from the BABOK guide. So without any delay, let's get into it. So the first one is benchmarking and market analysis. So what is benchmarking? Basically, benchmarking is when you want to compare certain specific processes or systems, products, services, or any structure with some other external baseline. And the most important point to note down here is which is similar to your organization or the baseline provided by an industry association, which means that you would want to compare these processes and systems or services or whatever based on the organizations which are similar to you. So let's say you're a mid-sized company that's creating a product. So you would want to understand how other mid-sized companies with the same resources and budgets and other constraints and factors that's similar to yours, how do they go about and build products? You would not want to compare yourself with large enterprise companies because that's a different situation altogether. So that's about benchmarking when you keep some um, external baseline of an organization as a benchmark for you to compare your performance and your operations. The next one is market analysis, which is used to determine what customers want and what competitors provide. So by doing market analysis and competitor analysis, you're trying to identify how are your competitors providing solutions to customers. In this way, you'll be able to understand and see what things are really working well for competitors and what things can be improvised. This gives you space for you to understand where are the areas in which you can bring in innovation and a better experience for your customers. The next type of elicitation is brainstorming, which we all do. And this is used to generate many ideas from a group of stakeholders in a short period. Okay, so this short period you would want to organize and prioritize ideas. So usually when you just want to understand what are the different problems customers are facing, you don't have a specific topic to speak about, but you're just open to understand what are the problems customers are facing, or what are the problems we as a team or our employees are facing. It could be anything, but you're open. So that's where you can brainstorm, and it's mainly used for generating new ideas. The next one is business rules analysis. So every organization or every business has certain rules. So as part of your analysis, you need to first understand and identify the rules that govern decisions in an organization and that define, constrain, or enable organizations operations. So when you sit and you identify these rules, you can use this type of a elicitation technique. And it's very important that you understand and you elicit this particular decisions and rules, because it affects operations. To give you an example, let's say e-commerce site, maybe their policy is unless the order is above $15, they would do, or they would allow you to make online payments. So, if that's the rule, then you should be understanding and discovering these rules so that you can incorporate it in the operations part or in the solution that you are providing. So that's about business rules analysis. The next one is collaborative games. So this is used to develop a better understanding of a problem or to simulate creative solutions. So I can give you one example of collaborative games. So there's this famous one which is product on the shelf. So by the name itself, product on the shelf means that every product lies in a shelf, and when the product lies on that shelf, the product has a outer box, it has a covering, and the covering of the box and the packing, it explains and gives information about what the product is and what it can what value it provides to the user, what's the solution, and what are the benefits and features of that product. So when a team comes together, you would want to play this collaborative game, and every member would write down the value of the product and the features of the product that would compel customers to buy that product. And there could be a voting session, and then it could see which is the best, describes the problem statement or the value of the product and the features. So this way you come up and you can understand and bring everyone to the same page, where everyone understands what's the problem or what are the solutions that this product needs to be providing to solve this problem. So that's just one example of collaborative games, but of course there are different ways in which you can do it as well. And the next one is concept modeling. So, as part of the solution of the change that you're bringing about, there might be different key terms and ideas and concepts that are involved in that particular scope of work. So, you would want to, as part of this elicitation, you would want to identify what are the key terms and ideas that you are dealing with, and you would want to understand and define the relationships between every idea and concept. The next technique is data mining, which we are again well known of. It's used to identify relevant information and patterns, which is very related to the problem and the scope of your research. The next one is data modeling, where you go into a little more detail of understanding what are the entities, what are its attributes, and how do they relate with each other. The other technique is document analysis, again, which we all do. We just need to make sure, and as part of this technique, you review existing systems, contracts, business procedures, policies, standards, and regulations. So, if at all there are any documents of that such, you can use this technique to go through the information provided in these documents. The next one is focus groups. So this is a little different from brainstorming, because as part of focus groups, as the name suggests, you're focusing more on an individual or particular group. So you want to identify and understand ideas and attitudes from that particular group. How does that group, what ideas do they have, what expertise do they have, and what information can they provide, what are their attitudes towards the change that you're bringing about. All this information you can do with much more focus group techniques. The next one is interface analysis. So it's used to understand interactions, and this interaction is generally between two parties or more parties, and it could be between entities, it could be between two systems, organizations, people, roles, etc. So this is very important because you understand how do certain entities interact with each other, and in this way you can design the flow of information and how do you integrate different processes or systems or whatever integrations might be involved. It's possible only when you get to understand these interactions and relationships. The next one is interviews, which we have already done and know. It's used to ask questions to stakeholders to uncover needs, identify problems, and also discover opportunities. So interviews also can be done in different ways. It could be one-on-one, it could be face-to-face, it could be virtual, it could be with a group. So it depends whatever works well for your organization. The next one is mind mapping, and I have found this super helpful when you are in a discussion with a team. This mind map really, apart from enabling the teams to generate ideas from a set of stakeholders, the one value I see in this predominantly is about how organized and prioritized those this structure can help you. So it allows you to organize your ideas more, and you can even prioritize them, because that's how the structure is enabled. So if you have not used mind maps, try using them. It's really good, in especially when you have a short time and you want to organize ideas. This is a great tool. The next one is observation. This also is like super interesting. Is this technique is where you gain insight about how work is done currently. So it's possible that where you try to do it in possibly different locations and in different circumstances. So for example, if you're trying to provide an application, let's say for a warehouse or for a restaurant, you would want to understand what are the pain areas people are facing. So probably instead of just sitting at your office and doing the analysis, you would want to, if you have the chance and given the chance, you could go to that location. Let's say you're going to the restaurant to see how are the operations like, where do people face certain pains, and how could you, if there are any processes you could be possibly automating or you could be speeding up. All this you get to know only when you're in that particular circumstance or in that situation, or I would say in the shoes of that particular persona. Or it could be you just sitting beside someone who's using an application which you want to improvise. You would just sit and observe them, don't say anything, try to find out how do they feel when they use an application. You would get great insights from that. The next one is process analysis, where you sit down again and you try to understand what does the current process look like, and you would want to identify opportunities for improvements in those processes. That's another technique. And another one is process modeling. So, apart from analysis, you would want to model down that process. And that's where you get in connection and you connect with stakeholders and the right SMEs, where you would elicit this whole process modeling session, and you would start building your process. The next one is prototyping, which again we have all been doing, where we used to elicit and validate stakeholders' needs through iterative processes that creates a model of requirements or design. So it doesn't always have to be you gathering information and data to elicit requirements. It could be in an iterative way where you want to elicit requirements by, let's say, low fidelity wireframes. So you put down wireframes, you get that validated with stakeholders. It helps them to even visually, see things and understand things. And then you take up feedbacks and again, iteratively, you improvise on that. And it's way different from designing because you're just creating mock ups over here and very low fidelity prototypes just to elicit requirements out. Do not compare that with designs, or do not even consider them as real pro designs that a UX or UI person would be doing. And another one technique is surveys or questionnaires. Again, you want to send out questionnaires and surveys to get more information, then you could use this technique. And the last one is workshops. So workshops are, again, it could be a brainstorming session, or it could be focused, it could be with a focused group. And workshops could range from few days to few weeks, I would say. So it's much different from what you do in a shorter period of brainstorming session. And the workshops generally have a very big outcome which you want to kind of decide on, or you want to plan out, and that's where you can use workshops. So these are about the different elicitation techniques, and I hope most of us, we have been using different techniques. But if you haven't used any of them, maybe try and spot out situations where you can use them. If you found this helpful, please do give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to this channel, and also do share your feedbacks. Thank you.